Hello, it's Oliver here. And again, instead of just looking at one game, we're going to look at a two-game series. It's time in the ACC between Carolina and Clemson, who have got two very similar names and are probably going to stuff me up this whole time, but do my best. Um, both games were quite close. Both teams won at home, so Carolina and Chapel Hill and Clemson. Both games were quite high scoring. And in this first video, we're going to look at the Carolina offense and the Clemson defense, which according to KenPom as of February 20 are the exact same. So Carolina with the 7th ranked offense and Clemson with the 7th ranked defense. Some points of emphasis. The main engine on offense for Carolina is Joel Berry, with the main beneficiary, at least against Clemson, being Cameron Johnson, who scored 53 points in 2 games. Johnson's not even that good of a scorer usually. He is like a .35 shooter from 3. He takes the most 3-point shots in his team, but he never went really off like he did against Clemson in any other game. So good effort by him. Carolina shoot the most threes in the ACC. They do a lot in transition and also really early in the shot clock. But when that is shut down, as it was in the second game at Clemson, they resort to a really good half-court offense, which they scheme open 3-point shots, which were mainly for Johnson. And on defense for Clemson, 1 to 4 for them is quite switchable. Their 3 guards, Mitchell, Reed, and DeVoe, are quite similar in their build and their skill. So those 3 can just change assignments at will. Same with their 4, who's Grantham, who's really good on the perimeter and really good in the low post, and he guarded Luke May really well for the 2 games. However, their big weakness is Elijah Thomas, who is really good in the low post, but really bad once he's on the perimeter. And that's what North Carolina really tried to isolate him in space. And Clemson, especially in Chapel Hill, tried to counter this by switching to a zone. However, though they had some initial success, it didn't ultimately work. So going to the video. We're going to start off with UNC in transition. So this is where they scored a lot of their 3-point shots in the first game. So they'd get into a situation like this. It'd be really early in the shot clock, initial Clemson confusion, and they'll just shoot a 3-point shot, which was guarded but not well. So here Theo Pinson going up the floor. Flick it out to Cameron Johnson. No one's on him. Shoots an open 3-point shot, gets it in. As you'll see, quite a variety of people take the ball up the floor. So in this situation, it's Luke May. Again, finds Cameron Johnson. Gets it in. This time, Cameron Johnson takes it up the floor. Lays it off for some shooting in the close to the basket, which is an easy 2-point shot. There was the occasional opportunity for transition in the game against Clemson, but not as frequently as in the first game. Here we've got Luke May taking it up the floor. Cameron Johnson drives to the basket, gets it back for an easy layup. So transition was a really important point of the Carolina offense. But when that didn't work, as it did in this game against Clemson, or when not so many opportunities presented themselves, they resorted to a half-court offense to try and scheme open 3-point shots. And this is an example of a set that they ran a few times and included such a down screen at the top of the perimeter. So here, I believe it's either Manley or Brooks. Get those two mixed up, but it misses the mark, the shot, but they do get the offensive rebound and eventually lay it in. Same play again. Same as Luke May putting the screen. Cameron Johnson puts it up. Misses it, but it was wide open, and it shows that again that intention to try and create those open 3-point shots. Same again, Cameron Johnson down screen. He scored 32 points on 36% usage rate. Off situations like this, where they scheme an open 3-point shot. So sets a screen, down screen, gets it in. So another 3-point set they ran is a double down screen to the left-hand side of the perimeter. So you'll see 2 people place a screen down here. There it is, bang, bang. It's actually defended quite well by Clemson, but it still goes in. Same exact play, this time for someone else. Cameron Johnson, again it's defended quite well, contested shot, but it still goes in. Like we'll see in Clemson in another video, UNC run a lot of pick and roll. It's always Joel Berry who's the ball handler, but the screener always changes. Well, it changes between two people. It changes between Brooks and Manley. Here we've got Brooks seeing the screen. This time with the beneficiary being Cameron Johnson once it gets passed around the perimeter. Here we've got Joel Berry, gets the ball, screen, goes over the screen, Clemson, fling around the perimeter. It's actually well defended, but he gets it in. It's just one of those type of days for Cameron Johnson, as we can see just down below here. 2/3 of his shots went in from 3 points. He scored 21 points at home. So again, Brooks sets the pick and roll for Joel Berry, comes to the left perimeter, screen, collapses the defense, kicks it out to Cameron Johnson, open 3-point shot. Same thing, screen, Berry lays it up. Now in the second game at Clemson, Berry definitely went to the basket a bit more. And he was really trying to target Elijah Thomas. So Elijah Thomas, he really hates moving away from under the basket. You can see here where he's putting the pick and roll. He doesn't want to go anywhere near that pick and roll. He tries to really sag off into the behind the perimeter. However, Joel Berry still attacks him and still able to beat him off the dribble and get a pretty difficult layup, but still gets it in. Nothing changed when Manley became the screener. Again, Joel Berry, he's attacking the basket a lot more in this game. Floats it up, gets it in. Here comes Manley again targeting Elijah Thomas. Clemson go under the screen for an easy open 3-point shot for Berry. Gets the ball, here comes Manley, bringing out Elijah Thomas. Attacks the rim, puts up a jumper at the free throw line and gets it in. Now something I was personally perplexed by is why they didn't run more Berry and Luke May pick and rolls. Luke May was defended really well. He averages like 18 points a game, but between the two games collectively, he only had 15 points, only 4 in the game at home. He was defended quite well by Clemson's Grantham, but whenever they did put him in a pick and roll situation in Carolina, they had quite a lot of success. So here's a situation where he's in the pick and roll with Berry. Nothing comes of it, so he puts it to the perimeter, puts himself in another screen, gets it again, is able to draw the foul. So he's quite strong at the low post, but he's also a really good 3-point shooter. So here we've got a pick and pop situation. Gets the ball, gets it in from 3. So I just want to replay that last one. So he's really strong in the low post, drawing that defensive foul. Again, pick and pop situation on the perimeter. He's able to get it in. So he's quite a versatile player. However, though he wasn't scoring a lot of points, he was still able to set up a lot of offense for Carolina. So now we're just going to go into some clips where he collects the ball in the low post, is doubled by both Elijah Thomas and Grantham, but is able to, because of that attention, create opportunities somewhere else on the floor. So here, he gets the ball, Cameron Johnson there, Theo Pinson gives it to him. He's doubled, so if I just pause it here, that leaves a lot of space under the basket, so here Carolina cut, Theo Pinson gets the ball right on the basket, dunks it right in. Same situation. Luke May is going to get the ball in the low post. He's doubled by Thomas and Grantham. Finds space somewhere else on the floor, this time in the right corner. He misses the open 3-point shot, but most importantly, it was open. So now it comes to the Clemson defense. Now the thing with the Clemson defense, as I was talking before in my points of emphasis, from positions 1 to 4, they're very switchable. Their guards, especially the 3 Reed, Mitchell, and DeVoe, they can really interchange assignments. And Grantham's really good as well, as we can see, as we'll see soon, he's really good at locking down Luke May in the low post. However, Elijah Thomas is the real weakness, and he really, really, really wants to stay under the basket. So we'll see some examples of what I've just talked about. First, I just want to point out Elijah Thomas. Watch how he just really hates moving away from that area. But also watch the Clemson guards, how they switch when they need to. So Elijah Thomas is really trying to stay. Good switch there by Clemson. And a good block by Thomas. So again, he's in that area that he likes, and he's really powerful there, and he can really swat away shots. Here's another example. Again, Thomas locked in under the basket. Good switch there by Clemson's guards. Now DeVoe's on the ball handler. Cameron Johnson charges at the basket. Guess who's there? Elijah Thomas blocks a shot and it goes out. Another example, Elijah Thomas, he comes out, doesn't want to get out there too long, so comes back, retreats back. Clemson's guards switch. Cross court, forces a really bad shot, clunks off the rim, and Clemson get the ball again. So I just want to replay that last one, just to emphasize the points I've been talking about. So Clemson, they switch their guards here. They don't care about who's on who because they're all very comfortable in who they're marking. Thomas is staying in the perimeter. They force a bad shot, clumps off the rim. So in this clip, I want to point out how good Grantham was at guarding May, as I was talking about before. May gets the ball in the low post and forces a really bad shot. So replaying that last one. Gets the ball, it's guarded really well, puts out a bad shot. So with all those things I just talked about, with Thomas wanting to stay under the basket and the three guards of Clemson really being good at ball pressure and staying around the perimeter and not caring who they're marking, Clemson put in zone just to make sure that Thomas didn't actually have to move from where he was comfortable and still allow the Clemson guards to pressure the ball. And initially actually had some really good success. It's what they did for basically the entirety of the third quarter in the game in Chapel Hill. They didn't do it in any other point of any of the other games against Carolina, but in this particular quarter, they really had some really good success with Elijah Thomas not having to leave that area where he is right now, just staying under the basket, directing who's marking who, the rest of the Clemson players, pressuring the ball, forcing bad shots. Here, Thomas gets the offensive rebound. It's just where he's comfortable. And UNC, to counter this, what they basically did is they put Luke May here, just basically on the free throw line, to be a pivot for either passing it to an open three-point shooter or shooting himself. So he just stays in that area, becomes a pivot. And opens opportunities for other people. There's an open three-point shot. Again, Luke May comes to the free throw line. Takes an open jumper himself. Misses it, but it's open. And then they started to get a little bit more advanced and complex, and they started having some sort of rotating pivot. This time they get the three-point shot in. So Theo Pinson's in the free throw line. Luke May gets it, passes off to someone else across the court. Clemson, they're scrambling in their defense, creates an open drive across the lane for Theo Pinson. Gets an open layup, but he misses it. Last clip. Luke May rotates out of that free throws line. Cameron Johnson comes in, moves out of it. So does Brooks, gets the ball, and is able to get the layup. So, just reviewing what I've just all talked about. So the UNC offense, really good at pick and rolls with Brooks and Manley, with Berry being the main ball handler. That was a way of them targeting Elijah Thomas, and in response, Clemson went into a zone, but it didn't work, and they kind of moved out of it for the rest of the series. Clemson really liked to score in transition or early in the shot clock. However, when Clemson shut that down, they moved into a more half-court orientated offense, trying to scheme open three-point shots with good success, with not enough success to win that second game. So that's all I've got for this. Check out for a second video soon on the Clemson offense and the North Carolina defense. Should be in the description. Sweet. See ya.